Hey, howdy-ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. Special Day 2 Senior Bowl closer. We are live here at Radio Row. Boy, it is freaking bumping, Riz. What are we going to do with all this?
We can run a fat guy 40 if you want to.
We do have to do that. Not today.
We'll get to that. We've had a very long day. Our good friend Collin is with us. He has been with us all day throughout the practice. We got the first day of good day of sessions.
Good friend?
Yeah.
Huh, of course.
Of course he is.
Nice to meet you, friend. No, Collin was wicked today. Wicked good. Running, just knocking down. We have so much video. I'm not sure if we're not going to get through it all tonight, but we have so much video of interviews, players, insights, lots to talk about. Saw some great stuff today at the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
We'll touch on it. There was some news that broke today. It's going to overshadow the Senior Bowl, I think, a little bit, NFL-wise.
Based on the questions that we heard today, yes.
We're going to cover it because it's important, but I don't think we're going to spend a lot of time on it. It's all still breaking, and Riz knows I just have one point about it. It's based on the NFL's quote, so we'll talk about that as well. Collin, thanks for joining us, man. You feeling good? You happy to do this?
Having a lot of fun.
It's
a lot of fun
time
so far.
Did you see anybody interesting today?
Oh, a few guys.
Who'd you see?
Mike Tomlin was kicking around.
Yeah.
Andrew Berry, Browns GM.
Yeah.
Rappaport was on the sidelines as that stuff was breaking, so, I mean, he wasn't looking up from his phone for 1 second.
Schefter. We saw Schefter.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of people.
Coach O was on the sidelines. Working his magic.
As I came up on you guys at the end of practice, Albert Breer was hanging out right behind you guys.
Yeah.
I met Dabo Swinney today. That was cool.
Good.
Yeah, I hadn't met him before, so that was nice.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of names and faces. We'll talk about it. We've got a lot to talk about here. Let's start out first. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes. Mm-hmm. They were almost co-joined twins out there. They did not leave each other's hip at all. I have pictures of them. They're just about every yard line in the field together, side by side, talking. My thing on this is this is probably one of the best developmental things for these guys that could have happened. They had a year together working, talking about talent, getting to know each other, and now they're sitting out there on the field together with live fire. You get Campbell able to say, this is how I would use him, or this is how he wouldn't work and what I want to do. And you got Holmes saying, this is why I think he's a good piece of personnel for the team. Exactly. And that communication that gets to happen between them while they're assessing the talent and understanding each other is I think,
and you couldn't do that if Dan was coaching. And he was completely hands off on the. I won't say that, but he was very And we interviewed Deuce Staley after the practice, and Deuce made it clear that he was making all the decisions. He was doing the installs. He was doing the sub package, whatever they wanted to do. And at the end of the practice, he's like, "Yeah, it was my idea to do up yawns after competition. That's something that my coaches did when I was a player that I liked. It brought some competition to it, and it was cool. Deuce was very. I think he enjoyed it. I know he enjoyed it in the. And we'll have something up on Lions Wire on that later today too, once I process what all I saw. But it was just seeing the way that they worked and the way that they communicate. They were talking. It wasn't just like they were standing next to each other, watching practice. They were talking. Like you could see them. Dan talks with his hands, so he gestured a few times. There was one particular rep where Jermaine Johnson, the Florida State defensive end, who is the best player here, parenthetically, regardless of position, he's the best player here, made a play, and you saw Dan just like that, like we were hoping that he says that's what I want, because it was a great rep where he faked an outside move, cut inside, did an underside rip, and got inside the tackle and got an easy would-be sack. That's the kind of thing that Detroit needs. So it was encouraging to see them get excited about that. But yeah, just the way that they hung out together, and again, it's such a great opportunity for them. And if Dan was coaching, he wouldn't get that. And we saw a lot of NFL people today, a lot of NFL cognoscenti, but the GMs aren't always with the coaches. The GMs are sitting with the other GMs. They're talking, to their cohorts, whatever. Hey, I haven't seen you since the league meeting, that type of thing. The Lions are all out there working, and I think that just that it's a different mindset. Like when we're here, we're working. We have a different, we're not closing a bar tonight. like just because we have a breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning right over there. That's going to be really freaking early.
Yeah,
but we're like, if I was here and I wasn't doing all of this, I'd be at Veets until 3 in the morning. You know, I'd be peeing in the sink like a certain NFL head coach that I saw do it a couple of years ago. But I'm not doing that. It's different because you have that mindset, and I think that they've established that very well.
There you go. All right. Colin, what did you see today? What stood out to you? Do we stick on the Lions? Let's talk about the Jets a little bit.
Well, going back to what he was saying about, Holmes and Campbell being pretty much tied to the hip, we saw the national team practice first. And
yes, we did.
Salah was sort of all over. It wasn't him standing, hip to hip with Douglas. I mean, he was sort of working around, getting into some of the reps and things like that. But when it came to the Lions, I was looking at my clock, and it had to have been almost an hour and 15 minutes into practice the first time they split apart.
Yeah.
And the first time they split apart, Campbell went to talk to Spielman, watching the linebackers, because Spielman sort of hung around with the edges and the linebackers most of the practice.
And he was on the field the entire practice. John Dorsey was with him for some of the time. Dorsey is very conspicuous. He's wearing his white sweatshirt.
And this little dad cap.
And his Air Monarchs. Because that's his brand, but he was very conspicuous. He and Ray Agnew were
all day
the assistant general manager were together just about all. They were certainly together all through the Jets practice. That's when I was hanging out with you guys for a little bit, and that was like you saw it right away. I think you got some film of it.
I got some video of it. I took about 5 minutes, and it was them watching Pickett and Strong throw to the receivers. And you could see them, similarly to what we're talking about with Holmes and Campbell, just sort of bouncing stuff off each other. Mm-hmm. So that'll be very cool to see. There was one rep specifically, Ferguson, the tight end for Wisconsin, made a pretty good catch. Mm-hmm. And they were sort of like, oh. And then the next time he came out there, he fell out of his break. And then you could sort of see them like, So some of the reactions in those videos, I'm sure Chris will get them up. It'll be really cool just to compare with what you're seeing on the field and then sort of what they're thinking.
Yeah, so. It is. And like this was your first Senior Bowl practice, so you observed a lot and learned a lot. One of the things that you probably learned today is that you can't judge everybody on one rep. No. Like you got to watch the entire body because there were like Malik Willis as an example. There were some throws today like, dude, yeah, and then there were some like, wow, he's a quarterback. Good God, man, there's some touch.
Yeah,
he threw a pass as hard as I've ever seen Matthew Stafford ever throw a ball to a running back that was 5 yards away that hit the guy's pads and went back behind him.
And he had that one towards the sideline. He airmailed it into the brick wall.
Yeah.
But going back to what you're saying about one rep, we had that first rep with Dubes, Romeo from Nevada.
Yeah.
And Josh Williams didn't even let him get out of his break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That was like manhandling if you ever see it. But then the very next rep, they go against each other, and he beats him 50 yards for a touchdown.
Torched him on the in route, or the post route. Yeah, that was... Yeah, so we saw a lot of things with that, and that happens. I wound up in the Lions practice. I spent time watching the receivers. Then I went down to the pit and
try to love someone.
Yes, I did. I did try to love someone. The offensive lines for both teams are well behind the defensive lines. That was very obvious in the Jets practice.
Yep.
And I didn't really focus on that, but every time I looked over there, it's like the defensive linemen are living in the backfield. That was mostly true with the Lions practice as well. One of the things to consider, neither team has an actual center.
Yes.
So in the Jets practice, they are trying to convert Central Michigan out tackle, what's his last name? Luke. I just know his name was Luke. Not Bernard Ryman, but the other guy.
That's with a G, right?
Yeah, yeah. But he got hurt 10 reps in, and he was their starting center. And this is a guy who plays tackle. So they were scrambling on that. The Lions team does not have a true center either. They tried a few different people. And the dude from Tennessee had himself a good day. Like that you saw some things that you liked there. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the guy, Luke Gedicke.
Yeah, see, that's what I need.
Gedicke.
You have the book.
I don't know how he pronounces it. I want to say I have seen him play in person. I want to say that it was Gedicke, but I could be wrong. He can correct me on that too. If you're listening, Luke, sorry to it.
Yeah, get it right, man. No, it was really, really great out there. Saw some really, really good stuff. The Jets. One other thing about the two teams that I want to talk about is the difference in energy between the teams and the players that we saw.
It's tangible, isn't it?
Absolutely different. And I'm going to credit this to the Lions coaching staff again. There is really, really something about how they bring those players up and get them ready. There's absolutely the coaches doing the work to get these guys up to speed. They were loud, they were proud, they were out there and giving it a lot, giving it their all, and having fun. They had a lot of fun. On the Jets team, I didn't see that so much. The Jets were a little bit, to me, more passive and observant about what was going on in the field. They were truly doing scouting work. The one shot where we were talking about where they were one of those wide receiver routes, and Joshua Williams was doing so well. The Jets wide receiver coach who was doing working the drill, he kept looking and it would turn around and watch the wide receiver, and a couple of times you'd catch him see a receiver do a really good job, and he'd be like, and he was spending the time kind of really concentrating on that, where the Lions staff was out there to bring these guys up, build them up, and see the very, very best they could out of them, rather than just flat evaluate.
There was a rep in the team portion where one of the linebackers, and I don't remember who it was, but he made a great play, and Kelvin Shepard, the Lions linebackers coach, ran in and was in the middle of the throng, chest bumping him and telling him that he did a good job. It's a very tangible difference of energy and coaching. Look, it's stylistically. Robert Saleh has his methods. The Lions obviously have theirs, and whatever works for them. But if you're a player that wants juice, you're going to like what you see from the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even when they first took the field too, you could feel the energy. They were being loud, they were dancing, they were having fun. The music sort of switched up. It was like it just took on the whole vibe of the coaching staff. So
yeah,
absolutely. And then so the evaluation versus what we saw, Hank Fraley in particular, he was supposed to be stepping off a little bit and letting some other people do some coaching.
It's not Hank's style.
It's not his style, and he turned Jonah into a center, so they knew he was going to turn whoever he had to here at the Senior Bowl into a center as well. Yeah, got some great video of him teaching today. Again, watching him, seeing him work and get in there with those guys, he is first and foremost a teacher, and I've said that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just I don't like giving people nicknames or doing the nickname thing, but his would literally be teach, because he is down there, hands on, in there, pushing guys. And when you guys see the video, when we get this edited out and share it with you guys, I think you're gonna love it when you see exactly how he engages with them and gets that taken care of. He is absolutely. I have to say, I love Campbell and what he brings. I love Ben John, but Hank Fraley, he's the OG. You know what I mean? He's my guy. I can't let go.
We appreciate that about you, Chris. You can't let go of Hank Fraley. No, he's a very hands-on instructor, and it goes over very well when you're trying to demonstrate how the Lions want things done. Once you get them into your system, they're going to pick that up pretty quickly. But for the guys that are here, one of the things that they're checking is, okay, if I coach this guy this way, how is he going to respond? Does this guy respond to my style of coaching as a position coach? Is that something that I want to work with? Or is it something like I can find somebody else that I reach better, that might not be quite as talented, but I can work better with and get more out of?
Yep.
That's a lot of what the Senior Bowl is about as well. So you're evaluating the personalities and the mesh with that. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited that they get the opportunity to do this. They have to take advantage of it, no doubt about that. But they're getting one of the things that, and I'll go back to the Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia team that was here, was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 2 years ago, when they coached it, they learned more players that they didn't want from their team than they did. Yeah. They're like, we don't like this guy, and some of them were justifiable. A guy like Bradley and the pass rusher from Utah, that everybody's like, oh, second, third round. The Lions we don't see it, and it turns out they were right in not seeing it. But there were some other guys that have done well in other places that they just weren't interested in for whatever reason. That will happen here too. There are going to be guys that are on their roster that okay, don't see it with him. Like, other teams are going to like them more, and that's okay. That's one of the reasons why you're here. You can't, like, all the raw talent in the world doesn't mean anything if it doesn't mess with the coach. We know that firsthand. Trust me. We've seen that. That's why we're here.
100%. I'm really happy with what I saw from the teams. For both teams were looking good out there. Quarterback position was interesting. The Lions played well. I liked what I saw from them. Wide receivers is something that we really wanted to watch today. Riz, who stood out for you?
From the Jets team, Romeo Dubes from Nevada stood out very well. The call up from Ole Miss, he was on the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl last weekend and got promoted to here, and he's wearing number 6, and I can't think of his name, and it's not on the roster. Let me look at the roster real fast here. Dun dun dun! I really should have brought my reading glasses. Braylon Sanders, great game. Very fast feet. That's actually my first note on him. He gets open quickly on short routes, and he's an undersized guy. Works the underneath very well, and he was fun. They have some good wide receivers on that team. Underappreciated wide receivers on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions won. There were guys that won some. I thought Velus Jones from Tennessee had some good reps. He works like this. He's sort of like an outside-inside guy in the Amon-Ra mold, but isn't as physical and it isn't as big. The guy who really stood out from what I think the Lions are looking for was Calvin Austin from Memphis. And I was sitting for a while with Jeremy Reisman, the Pride of Detroit, and Kent Platt from Pro Football Network, and we were talking, and we were all like, he's like a quicker Khalif Raymond because he's that size. He's really small, but man, he can fly. He gets the catch on and going back towards the line of scrimmage on a comeback. He spins the hips in an instant. He's off the other direction. That instant acceleration out of a break is something like. If it's 3rd and 4 and he runs a 3-yard out, he's going to be able to get that yard on his own, even if the play call sucks. And that's something that we as Lions fans can appreciate because we've had look at the offensive coordinator that we had at the beginning of the year, where every goddamn 3rd and 9 we ran 7 yards all the routes.
I'm going to say I said it before I went out there, and he proved it. And I would say he stood out very well, but. We, as a team, the Lions, I just don't see him taking a 5'9", 190-mile-an-hour guy.
And I
Jared
agree with
Goff
that.
cannot put that ball in the basket, and it's going to be too few, not enough times that he's going to be able to do that.
I will share this. I talked to a Bears reporter today.
And I love the Khalif Raymond thing because I said that we were sitting here going through these things this morning. Yeah,
I talked to a guy who covers the Bears, and I asked him, what's your impression of the Lions? And he's like, y'all need a big receiver.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys that I think really showed out today was Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All from North Dakota State. Yeah.
That's a guy that I've sort of I think he's going to obviously rise from where he's at right now, especially after the combine, because his speed's killer too.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way he got out of breaks and separated, it's sort of like, I mean, he's 6'5", 4'4". It's like everything Kenny could do, but he separates that much better. Like he comes out of his breaks great. He had that one rep where he sort of didn't come out of his little hook route right, but everything after that in like the 7-on-7s, the team drills, he's running 4 or 5 yards open on dig routes and stuff like that. So
and for a lot of the times he was matched up with the cornerback. What's his name? Let me get it right.
And while you're doing that, that's the kind of receiver that Jared Goff needs. That was the Cephas, that was the Reynolds, but an upgrade over both of those, I think, at that position.
Right?
Greg Jr. Yeah, Gregory Jr. from Wichita Baptist. Did very well for himself for a D2 prospect who got called up also from the Collegiate Bowl. He was in phase a lot on Watson, and Watson was still able to get the catch because he's got a big frame. He was able to use himself to get space and make good hands catches. I was impressed with Junior. I thought he played pretty well.
Sure.
He would look good in Detroit too, but he's like a round 4 or 5 guy probably. But yeah, Watson's played his way. He's going up the pecking order because this. One of the things that we do when we're here is we talk to different national reporters, beat reporters, that type of thing, to get a feel for like where they see teams. The wide receiver class this year is weird. Like you're going to have 15 different guys who are considered top 3 receivers for any one team. Watson will be one of them for some teams. That it's crazy how much variance there is, and there's a lot of like dealer's choice for it. Like the Lions, they need a big guy who can get open down the field.
Absolutely.
But they also need like a guy who can complement Amon-Ra, like where he can also play in the slot, and Amon-Ra can do that. They can mix it up. They can motion in one way or another. But a similar size, a 6'1" guy, 200 pounds, that's physical, and they don't have that either.
And the dire need for this team, because I think it's second to Amon-Ra. You need another one, but it's another one. You don't have that big guy, big outside guy, and if you think about, last year I was pretty critical at the draft that we didn't get a wide receiver because it was an obvious need for this team. I just don't see us not getting that guy this year. Watson, where do we have him projected?
He's probably a third round guy right now, but he's gonna run.
I think he's not going to be there when the Lions pick in the third round.
Right. So there's opportunity. We have two third round picks. Do you turn them into your wide receiver? Who knows? There's a lot to be talking about. Right?
Another bigger guy too that was on our roster. He interviewed after was Jalen Tolbert from South Alabama.
From USA here.
Yeah. And he's about 6'3", but seeing him at the podium, and he's got his shirt tucked up a little bit, and he's rocked out.
He is not a stranger to the weight room.
And he can run too.
Yeah, so he can.
That's somebody I'm going to definitely watch.
He had some slippery hips too. Like you saw, he has the ability to flip it and get around and set things up, break off a stem. There was a lot of things to like about what he did too. He did put a couple of balls on the ground, which is something that he also did for USA here. So that's things to consider.
And it's. I think the popping the shirt up, showing that he is that rock hard, I think that's his way of doing the weigh-in walk the best he can, because that was where you found who was the real athletic, who was taking it seriously, who was ripped out and doing the work to get.
That was one of the things that stood out about Romeo from the Jets team. Like you look at that guy's legs compared to like when they're standing in line, like his calf definition, his thighs, his hips. I don't want to talk about his glutes, but.
Go for it.
He's a very well built guy, and you didn't get that from some of the other guys that were there running with him. There was one guy. There are 2 SMU wide receivers here. Danny Gray got open all day. He can't catch. Roberson didn't get open but can catch. So you got a sort of a dealer's choice there. Yeah. Gray was open a lot deep today in our practice and in the Lions practice. Some of it is, there's ball placement issues because you're working with quarterbacks and receivers that haven't ever thrown together before. So you don't necessarily worry about that. Like, okay, I wanted the ball, on my front shoulder and it went to my back shoulder. That's excusable. When the throw is 15 yards over your head,
what are you going to do?
That's a problem. When it's thrown into a brick wall, when it's bouncing to you, those are problems. And there was a lot of that.
I forget who it was, but he had beat the corner, and Howell, like he's in the end zone, and Howell was 5-7 yards over his head.
Yeah.
It was just like.
Do you want to talk about some of the balls we saw out there? The throw, the punt throw. Do we want to talk about that?
Oh, with Carson Strong.
Yeah.
It
was just
you talk about because you broke it down perfectly.
We started watching him throw his deep balls, and it almost had the trajectory of like a punt. Yeah. And it was sort of angled, and then as it started carrying, it just sort of leveled off and died. And he had the wind to his back, too.
He did.
So it was just I've never seen a long ball like that. Usually it's, you got something tight spiral and it's going, but I almost had the trajectory of a punt that we were seeing like at the end of practice. So
that's something.
It looked really strange too because the punter from the national team, my God, that dude, the dude from Penn State, wow, like no competition for Jack Fox needed in Lions land. That guy's an NFL punter, like no doubt about it. And the dude from Georgia who's on our squad had a couple that went 75 yards and a couple that went 30. So he was all over the map today, and he had a more consistent wind too, and didn't do much with it. So that was. There's your special teams talk.
Our friend Mr. Pickett. We talked about it this morning with Justin Rogers. Yep. We saw those hands up close and personal, wrapped around a Gatorade bottle. Not sizable. He was out there today. Riz, give me your assessment. I'll hold for a minute.
He did fine. He throws a very catchable ball. He throws with good pace. His footwork is consistent. His release is consistent. Like, this is a guy who's very comfortable being Kenny Pickett, and I think that's important. I mean, you're not going to have to do much to get him to run your offense. You know, he's out of the box, ready to roll.
Yeah, mentally he's ready.
Yeah.
For the most part, physically he's ready.
He has fine arm strength. It's not great. I compare him to Matt Ryan, and I stand by that comparison more today after seeing him in person.
Okay, Collin, he's not my guy if I'm the Lions. He's not. What about you? Where do you think? You think he's somebody that we pull in, we move for, we do something to get into our stable?
I don't think, based on where our assets are and what we need to do, he's going to fall in that range between where we're picking.
Even then, I mean, they could make moves to get him. I just don't see it happening. Trading back's hard, right? Yeah. But even packaging things up, he's not your guy if you're the Lions. Jared Goff is a better option, I believe, right now. Could he be coached up? Could he be more? Potentially. But I'm not, he's not Joe Burrow coming out where he's your obvious guy that's going to come in and start no matter what. He's not your Trevor Lawrence, right? So what it takes to get him, is that risk really valuable enough, or do you build out the rest of the team, and he's the number one quarterback in the draft, build out the rest of the team, and then next year is when you shoot your shot?
Yeah, the problem is that will there be anybody better than Kenny Pickett next year? Who knows?
It's always a question.
It is.
It is a question. You never know what's going to happen next year. But everybody kind of knew last year. The word was already by those draftniks and college scout guys that this year was going to be a dearth of talent.
The number one guy from last year was at Oklahoma. Now he's going to be fighting for a starting job at South Carolina. Yeah. Not exactly quarterback heaven.
Exactly. But they knew. I mean, they knew last year. This year was not going to be the year for a quarterback. So,
yeah, it is a good year for senior quarter. Like, normally, the top quarterback is usually an underclassman. Not always, but usually. But this year, I think 5 of the first 6 quarterbacks who were drafted are here. With Matt Corral, I think will be the other one who gets into the mix. But you're looking, Pickett's going to be QB1. If you're doing your mock drafts and you don't have it there, you probably need to adjust. He will be the first quarterback, and I don't think. He's anywhere between where Carolina picks and 20, maybe. But then I think you can see Willis in the next range, and I think there's going to be some team that falls in love with Sam Howell because he does do things interestingly. He has an arm. He showed that off today. His running style is reminiscent of Josh Allen, and his playing style is somewhat reminiscent of Josh Allen. That's a flavor that's very in vogue in the NFL right now. Is he as good as Josh Allen? No, he's not. And he's certainly not nearly as big. One of the things that stood out today was that the quarterbacks on the Lions roster, they're all the exact same size. And they're all smaller than Baker Mayfield. Now, I know people think that Mayfield's a shrimp, but he's not. I censor myself there. From our car ride home, we had an interesting conversation. Baker Mayfield is every bit of 6 foot and 225 pounds, and does not look small at all in person. And he is as big as these guys, if not a little bit bulkier. So when you look at Willis, you look at Zappi, and you look at how they're all like. If they stood next to each other, they'd look like triplets. Like the size is not there. If that's something that you want, you're probably not going to like this class. Other than Carson Strong, who did not look good today and has massive knee problems from what we're gathering that will probably ding him from a lot of draft boards. Don't know if that'll happen with the Lions yet. But I was told unequivocally today that one team will not be drafting him. Like, his knee will not pass our physical, period. So
there you go. Anything else on quarterbacks, Collin?
I think Desmond Ridder had a good day. He's big. He moves well.
He does move well. He moved. One of the things, his pocket movement. He's not necessarily a guy that's going to run a lot. Right. His ability to reset his feet quickly is great. Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Then the measurements yesterday, the 10-inch hands. Dave from the mobile, that was one of the first things he brought up this morning after Pickett was Reagor's hands are 10 inches. And it's like, well, yeah.
He's no shrimp, dude.
Size matters.
Yeah, no.
Proof that we read your comments.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if you want to get fewer ad reads in the show, be sure to use the super chat. In the meantime, go to cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Feel your pain, seal your pain, and make it go away. We have active CBD and Delta 8, where Delta 8 is available. There's a few states like Michigan that don't like your Delta 8. cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Go there and get the stuff that fixes what ails you. Those will flunk you on a drug test if you need to know. So you can use the regular CBD, the oil or the cream, and it's all good stuff, or the gummies. They have gummies too. And that will make the pain, anxiety, and insomnia dissipate.
I really do. I have all those problems, Chris.
I know.
Really do.
Yeah, that's just a start. cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Set yourself up, and they kick us back. It's Diamond CBD. They are one of the best in the business. And they've been a good partner for a long time. So cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. There we go. All right. No network live coverage at all, Brendan. Let's talk a little bit about the new stadium. I was a little bit what was it? I wanted Glad People's. I really the rain, the almost snow, the frigid temperatures, the hard stinky benches. There was something about it. There was a certain charm to it.
To Lad People's, the old place, Lad People's. It was,
and I didn't necessarily want to change to something new, but I kind of liked it there today.
I did not like Lad People's.
Nobody did. I was the only one.
It's one of the two worst stadiums I've been to, along with Kent State's Shrine to Concrete in the middle of Northeast Ohio. That's the absolute most sterile building you will ever go in. I was telling people today, I saw Khalil Mack from Buffalo play there in a game. There was 122 of us in the stands. We counted every single one of them. Fan support. That was a Tuesday night action game. I drove down for that.
Oh my!
But Lad People's was like, it hadn't been cleaned since the Carter administration. It was awful. The bathrooms were like, is that thing going to come out of the toilet and get me? Like that kind of scary. I shouldn't say much about accessibility from like the freeway and everything, because where we're today is really remote. Yeah. But the new stadium, other than the bleachers being rock hard, there's ways you can do it with like the synthetic whatever. I don't know the material. I'm not a materials guy, but
you just knew it was rock hard.
Yeah, and there's no backing on the one side. Actually, I snuck down to the other end for a while, and Collin went dark. It's not his fault. It's our fault.
We'll fix it. Go ahead.
We will, but it's nice. It's a very good size for the size of school that USA is. Sunbelt school. I like the different colors of the seats. I thought the concession area was nice and open. The concourse was nice. It's a much nicer stadium than a lot of like the MAC stadiums that I typically go to. Mm-hmm. It's nothing like Michigan State or the Big House or the Horseshoe or anything like that. If you've been to Ryan Field in Northwestern, it's smaller than that, right around that actually. But it's comfy. It's cool. The sound is great. Great sound.
Yes,
that matters.
Absolutely. and we're talking like the PAs and everything else. I mean, crystal clear, right? Yeah. It was really it's often
an open air stadium, and it's kind of up on a bluff, because it's raised up from the rest of the campus. You can see it from a ways away, and like it was windy today. It was windy as a sunbitch for a while, and you didn't hear it. Like it was good.
Yeah.
They did their homework on it. Hopefully, their school of architectural design or whatever they got did it, because they did.
And the board
they did a good
there,
job.
the board is beautiful. The big board,
crystal clear.
Yeah, we have some video of that as well. We'll see if we can get a shot or two up. But it was absolutely gorgeous. The signage there, the board, the little halo ring around the outside, very well done. It's a very nice stadium. Especially for the size of school it is. It looks like it's going to be a fun place to watch a game, but it was great for the Senior Bowl. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I had the old kind of nostalgic kind of thing for Lad, just because it was the badness of it.
They used to have actual like hedgerow on the inside of a fence alongside the entire side of the field, so guys would spit their chaw and their sunflower seeds into those bushes.
Chris Kusurik has his own sunflower plant growing there. I'm sure
he does.
But there was just this nostalgic feel about just because of how bad it was. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like, you watch a movie. If you ever watched like the Blob, right? That movie from way back when, or some of the old creature feature flicks and stuff, right? Those were great movies. As terrible as they were, right? They were great to watch, and that's what Lad Peebles was. Yeah. It was Sir Graves Ghastly waking you up with
my goodness.
Oh, man. Right?
Wow. There's a reference you didn't know you would get on today's show. Collin's like, you Americans.
Let's really quick talk about Chad Muma.
Yeah. Linebacker.
Wyoming looked pretty good out there today. Big fella.
Yes, he is.
Usable. I mean, not Patricia style big though, right? I mean, he's not.
No,
he was.
No, he's. What is he? Well, I have it right in front of me. I can look it up. He is. Am I looking at the right roster? I am not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not.
Colin, why don't you give us what you got?
This was like the unofficial, but I got 6'3", 242.
That sounds exactly right. I am looking at the wrong.
This was coming into the.
Am I?
Yeah, you're looking. He's a national.
I'm an idiot. Thank you, by the way, for Brian Bosarge at Draft Countdown for providing these rosters for us. They don't have rosters for us this year. Apparently, their printer just didn't print enough, and they didn't figure out to print more.
They ran out every year.
There's 900 credentialed media, and they printed off like 200 rosters. Okay.
It would have been really nice if they would have like given us the file. We could print it ourselves.
Yeah, he was 6'2", 241, 10-inch arms though, like 10-inch arm length. Or 10-inch hands. Sorry.
10 big 10-inch right here, linebacker. We're so tired.
I am. I'm loopy tired. 32 and 3/8-inch arms and a 75-inch wingspan. That's not bad for a linebacker.
No, sure.
He can move. He can move laterally. He can accelerate from moving laterally to go forward. That was one of the things that we saw today and took note of. Yeah. Good linebacker.
Good couple good reps we were looking at out there, and Collin he's like a bird dog, man. He's like, check this out, look what he's doing. You want to talk a little bit about Muma out there, what we saw?
Yeah, exactly what Riz said. That was one of the guys I was looking at too before the draft, as what you sort of said was like a Anzalone type.
Yeah.
That's definitely the vibes I got. He can run with tight ends. There's videos of him during the season doing that. Jumping up and intercepting balls coming off the edge. He's a really athletic guy. I think would fit good. Now we'll see what happens with his draft stock, but right now, where would you say they got him right now? Round 3 maybe.
Yeah, third. He's in the range of the third round comp pick.
Yeah.
That 97 pick. He might be gone 80. He might go 105. That's his general draft range, because he's not going to test through the roof. Like I would say his overall athleticism is probably going to wind up being like, well, I'll lean on Kent's RAS here, the relative athletic score. He's probably around a 6.5, 7. Not outstanding, but not bad.
Better than Jelani Tavai. Sorry, I hate to rub salt. I don't like to rub salt in the wound. That's what I do. Yeah, no.
So much salt.
That's a position where is not decided. It is not handled this year. You know what I mean? And he's a guy that could certainly be a potential candidate to fill
another linebacker on the same team was Darien Beavers from Cincinnati. He had a rep against Trey McBride, who was essentially first-team All-America, John Mackey, everything, tight end. He followed him out of the break. He tried to do this little whip route, and he followed him and had him on his hip, broke up the pass, and then knocked him down to the ground and stood over him and gave him and he's like a 255-pound, edge sort of will outside guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's... That was, I didn't know he could cover like that and move like that. I mean, you're talking that's one of the best tight ends in college football. And like we said, you can't go one rep, but that was very impressive.
Yeah.
And the question is, can they tackle? And you just can't. You don't see it in the practice.
Asamoah from Oklahoma tackled a couple of dudes today.
Yeah.
So that's if you're looking for a kneecap biter, that would be the guy. He's tackling in a no tackling drill. There's a fine line between. Well, the one of them he was trying to intercept the ball, and they had dual possession, and he flipped the guy over. But that guy can run too.
Let me throw it back a little ways. Is Darien Beavers a Harry Collin? The Lions are the best at getting named players.
They
put Beavers on your list.
They really needed Willie Beavers. Although that guy couldn't play a lick.
You need to put Beavers on your draft list because
can linebackers wear number 69 now? With the number changes?
That'd be nice.
Oh.
It's like, and we already got the exit, and right outside of Troy there, Big Beaver Road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Nice.
I've wanted to steal that sign my whole life. God.
I wonder how many times they've replaced that.
Yeah.
Oh God, they've got a stack of them over at the M.Dot. All right, let's break into another topic really quick. And I'm gonna start into it with the question of someone asked, "Did you hear about Jim Harbaugh going to the Vikings?" And so you could pose the question, "Did you hear about Jim Harbaugh going to Miami?" Not anymore. So let's start with Harbaugh to the Vikings. Interesting take. I think it's a good time for him to make his exit. You know what I mean? I think it's good for him. Probably not great for the school, but he doesn't really align with all the NIL stuff. Everything else going on just isn't going to be his ball of wax. Get him to the pros again. See what he can do there. What do you think of the hire from Minnesota, and then what do you think of the effect on the Lions?
I think it's interesting that he's going there with the definition of mediocrity as a roster. Like, they're not bad. They're certainly not good. But as long as you have Kirk Cousins throw into the guys that they've got there, and their defense is capable when they're healthy, he's got a chance to have that team be better than Detroit next year. Are they going to be better than Green Bay? Not if Rodgers is back. And I don't know. One of the things that has consistently come up at Michigan is that he doesn't adjust well to what he doesn't do well. Like, he's going to do Jim Harbaugh's way of doing it. And if it works, great. If not, we'll try it again next year. Maybe it'll work next year. And it did this year for him. Give him credit for that. I tend to think he's going to be a better head coach in the NFL than he was in college in terms of, like, success.
He did well in San Fran.
He did.
Right? And it
some
was
of that
from
was
the
the fact
ashes
that he
of
took over for an absolute clown show between Mike Singletary and Jim Tomsula. But
Stitch time saves nine.
I think the way he coaches resonates better with more mature players. I don't think he handles young players at Michigan all that well. That's one of the reasons why you see a lot of their hyped up freshmen come in as 5-star recruit, and he plays 5 snaps and doesn't develop until he's a junior. That's sort of a repeating cycle. In the NFL, he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to spend time recruiting. He doesn't have to spend time glad handling alumni and fundraisers. He can go out there and just coach football. That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think the NIL thing would have just sucked the life out of him. I really do.
It's interesting how that's going, and that's something actually Dave
Schultz was talking
about how that.
Not only do you have to recruit them, but now you got to recruit them again every year because the portal.
Keep recruiting them because the portal, like what Texas A&M is doing, what other schools are coming up with innovative programs. For those of you who followed college football for a long time, Rhett Bomar at Oklahoma, if you remember him, he got thrown out of college because he was working at a car wash and getting paid like $6,000 an hour to work at a car wash. He wound up at Sam Houston State. He was actually here about 10 years ago. They can do that now, which is crazy.
Oh man. Okay. Let's go into it then from here. This is the topic. It came out. The NFL released a statement on the
so the whole thing came out, and it happened while we were there, and so we haven't spent a lot of time talking about it. We didn't hear. We listened to we actually listened to Dave on the way to here. Thanks, Dave. As well, we got our Smoothie King and everything, and we're not versed on all of the intricacies of what's going on in the lawsuit. It's a class action lawsuit against the NFL filed with Brian Flores, the former Dolphins coach, as the primary plaintiff. But there's a lot of tentacles to it.
Is there a hyphen in class action?
There is not. I was advised of that on our work Slack.
Okay.
Thank you, John Fogg.
Really quick, I just want to the thing about it. This is let's first talk about the allegations as we've heard them. Right.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, so let's just try to keep it high level. And so there was the interview with Elway and the other guy in Denver in 2019.
Right, and
Elway evidently seemed like he was
showed up
tanked
after Ide on the town,
Yep.
which is what we're trying to avoid in the morning. It was a good reminder for us not to go out and get slobbery tonight.
So you had that. And then you had the tampering incident with a premier quarterback potentially on a yacht. Ross's yacht that he was talking about.
See, I missed that. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah. Some are saying that it was, you don't know who, it's an unnamed quarterback. People are speculating that it was Tom Brady, was going to come to the Ross's yacht and they were going to have a meeting. It would have been a tampering situation. Flores says he said, no way, I'm not doing it. Okay. He blew out of there. And that's how Tom Brady wound up in Tampa instead of Miami.
Okay, I did not know that. Yeah. That's interesting. That's another rabbit hole to go down. There's also the thing where Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, was going to pay him to tank games and lose games so they could get Joe Burrow. It also came out that they offered the Bengals 3 first-round picks to get Joe Burrow. So for all y'all Church of Tua people, they didn't want him. They wanted Burrow.
There was a number with getting paid.
Yeah.
The $100,000 dollars per loss to get. I mean, God, that's tempting. That is really tempting. But for the owner to do that,
well, it's all allegations at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm speculating. If the owner were to do that, that is really something crazy.
A lot of what we hear from this are things that have been like, "Hey, did you hear about that?"
Yep.
Like little whispers at combines and things like this, and and if it's all getting lumped together, it's going to what's that called? Is exploratory or exposition phase of the
discovery phase.
Thank you, discovery phase. I haven't watched Law and Order in a while.
I'm in all kinds of lawsuits right now.
I figured that. The discovery phase of this is going to be fascinating because it's going to touch everybody. It will probably touch the Detroit Lions. I have no idea how, but I'm sure there's some skeleton in some closet that's going to get brought out.
The Raiders had no idea how the Washington thing was going to affect them. So
right, yeah, exactly.
Those are the tentacles you can see these things.
Like there's going to be a lot of business that the NFL doesn't want out there.
Yep. And so then the last one was the Belichick texts that were supposedly Belichick thought he was texting with Dabble, and he was texting with Flores instead, and then was like, "Oh, sorry."
No, it was the other way around.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he was texting with Flores, thinking that it was.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
and the timeline on it. So, and this is interesting because Flores had already had his first interview with the Giants when that happened, but the rest of the timeline is wacky, and don't let 70-year-old men text is the long and the short of it.
No. Okay, so that broke while we were there.
Yeah.
Before we left, there's the NFL communication system through emails. Get the email out, and I'm going to read the whole thing.
All right.
Well, it's the end that's the most important, but I want to at least give them the credit for the whole statement.
It's
right?
It's
not that
statement.
long. Yeah. The NFL and our clubs are deeply committed to ensuring equitable employment practices and continue to make progress in providing equitable opportunities throughout our organizations. Diversity is core to everything we do, and there are few issues in which our clubs and our internal leadership team spend more time. We will defend against these claims, which are without merit. That is really so. Look, working in the corporate world in a very, very large multi-billion-dollar corporation, a statement like this takes the lawyers a number of hours to approve.
Yes.
Okay, just to approve, not to even get it written or reacted to or anything like that, and to come out with something as cut and dry are these claims, which are without merit, is in a 2-hour time frame is really unheard of. It tells me they knew about this, they were prepping for this was coming, and they had some kind of heads up on what was happening. This is where discovery could be crazy, because could it be that Belichick, and I'm pure speculation here, I just want to make sure everyone is aware, could it be that Belichick said, "Hey guys, Goodell, I really screwed up, I texted the wrong guy, the wrong stuff, and this could be a problem," right? As somebody caught wind of it, something happened, they knew about this before this broke today, and it's a shame that it's overshadowing the Senior Bowl, because there's a lot of kids here who really, really put everything in their lives.
There's just so much Tom Brady retired today officially.
Yeah,
that happened. I didn't even know that until Justin Rogers told me that this morning. Actually,
oh my! You know something, Riz? That was when Tom Brady retired the first time, like a day ago, or 2 days ago, whatever it was. Somebody said, God, I don't remember who it was, and I wish I could give him credit. If you're in the NFL and you've got bad news to drop, now's the time to do it. And he didn't retire. And that was really wonky on its own, that it was like 2 days later, right? It's like, what? Just go with it at this point. You didn't really control the narrative by doing it 2 days later. It was just really weird. And then this. That's interesting. I wonder if those things are connected, because it sure seems like they knew that it was coming. You know what I mean?
That's like you said, that's not a statement that you get through your legal department and through, like, Roger Goodell. He's not here. I don't know where he's. I don't know where he's at. He's probably setting up the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl and all that.
He's with lawyers right now. He's with lawyers doing a lot of talking.
And an undetermined location.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. It is something that's relevant. I know it's not Senior Bowl talk, but it is the dominant. So after the practice today, the local Detroit area media was given access. We interviewed Deuce Staley, who's the acting head coach this week, and we also got Aaron Glenn. And of the 20, I'm going to guess 20 questions that were asked them, 14 involved this.
And it happened while they were on the field.
Right.
I mean,
and that was the first thing that Deuce said. He's like, I know something's going on. I don't know what it is. I've been coaching. I've been working. I don't know. He just said, just in general, that he wasn't.
That's the bullshit.
Direct quote from Deuce Staley.
It was much more of like, he's uncomfortable talking about something that he didn't know, and he wanted to focus on, and he said it. I want to focus on the guys that are here and the job that we're doing. And I will give Tim Twentyman from the Lions a lot of credit for steering the conversation that way, asking him.
You've had enough of that shit.
Yeah, and I thought Tim did a great job of steering it to where his coach was comfortable. He kind of bailed him out in a way. I appreciated it as well, because you're asking a guy questions about something that he can't answer.
Yep.
Glenn was a little more candid because he has interviewed for a head coaching job before. He talked about, his experience interviewing for the Denver Broncos job, which is something that, came up in the Flores thing. And he was very clear that he wants to be a head coach, but he also made it clear that when he's here, he is the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator. That's what he wants to be. He's happy in that job. He's not looking to leave. But if he said, when my time comes, it comes. And he got into a little bit more of, like the situationality of race and coaching opportunities and things like that. And he tried, my interpretation of it was he tried to get away from that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he did stand up a little bit for the Broncos. He said that the interview process that he went there, he said he talked with Elway and the crew for like 6 hours. He had nothing but respect for them. He thought it was very good. He wasn't upset that he didn't get the position. Like, he understood that they went in a different direction. It was okay. He spoke highly of Vic Fangio, who got the job at that point. But he's clearly learning how to play that diplomatic game that you have to do when you're a head coach.
Yeah. We were talking about this today. This is as much a people business as it is a talent business.
Yeah.
It is absolutely intertwined, those two things. And you need to be able to work with people. I mean, that's how people look. A lot of bad at their job people get employed in the NFL, and they do it because of the people that they know.
And you look at some of, like, Jim Schwartz is a guy we all generally feel pretty good about what he did in Detroit. It needed to end, but we all wonder, why has he never gotten another job? Well, he's kind of a prick.
Yeah.
He's not going to play that game.
He's coming for you.
And that might, sorry, Jim.
Here's just one little thing from James in the chat. I got to say, it took the NFL legal team 2 hours to digest the 80-plus page document. That's really all you need to know.
Well, I mean, Congress reads 500-page bills in 5 minutes and then votes on it reflexively on who sponsored it or not. That's the society we're in.
But lawyers doing lawyery things, that's not how they work.
they got a bill for hours, man. You can't whip through in 2 hours that document. You got to get 200 billable hours out of that bad boy.
Yeah, your representatives in Congress have to go get those pages.
If y'all could be privy to the conversations we had in the car today.
Don't be a shrimp, a small-minded person. Collin, did you want to add anything else about the situation in Miami and with Brian Flores?
No, I think you guys touched on it all.
Yeah. I don't mean to throw you a stink bomb like that.
But we're gonna have to talk. It's not something that we wanted to talk about today, but we kind of have to. Like it's going to be on the A block of the morning news tomorrow, not Sports Center like the CBS. Like Nate Burleson's in a great place right now. It goes to the CBS this morning. He's gonna be front and center tomorrow.
I heard. I got a quote from Goodell. When he read the 80 page, he gave
this guy needs a and I'm going to find him and just give him a big
Yeah, he seemed a little worked up. So
our friend Dean Blandino. Hi, Dean. We miss you, buddy.
I don't. I texted with him just the other day. I was just texting with him. I don't miss him. I talked to him on the regs.
I haven't talked to him since he was on the show.
Oh, well, let's get him back. There's going to be rule changes.
Yeah.
Especially about hiring. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go with the big takeaways. Anybody? There was a question if I have a darling after today. No, when Andy Isabella was here, he had a lot of talk, and I was like, oh yeah, let's check this guy out. Oh, he can really cut and run. He's looking good, but God, he can't catch without his body being involved. And it was like it took day one for me to fall out of love. To be honest with you, I think tomorrow you'll see some strength. You'll see go from a shrimp to something else, and you'll see me start to find
tomorrow's going to be interesting because we could have some weather here. It's not like the weather back home for Collin and I. We're both from Michigan, where I'm going to guess that my kids don't have school tomorrow. But it's going to be windy. It was windy this afternoon. It's going to be windy. There's a chance for a decent amount of rain during the day. That makes things very interesting. Tomorrow is normally the day where I focus on the offensive and defensive lines. It's the day where those guys are the most jacked up and ready to go at each other. Weather doesn't necessarily affect that much. It's an artificial turf field, so your footing isn't an issue. It's not like Heinz Field that we complained enough about yesterday.
Speaking of Heinz Field, we saw Tomlin.
Yeah, you didn't seem like
Tomlin is.
I saw Kevin Colbert today too.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about Tomlin really quick because he has the coach face, right? You see on the sideline. He was not that guy at all when he was walking. I mean, he was like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, what's up?" I mean, everybody. He was like anybody. It didn't matter. It was like almost like people were just looking at him like, "Wow, that guy's making a lot of noise." Hey, how you doing? Like they didn't even know who he was because he was just like, "I'm like motherfucking Tomlin." You know what I mean?
By the way, Collin spied Lions today. Did you see when we were walking in?
We're walking in, and I said to Jeff and Chris, I think that's Jalen Reagor. And we got a little bit closer, and I'm thinking, I'm like, why would he be here? There's no way he would be here. And he's like 3-4 feet in front of us, and we get into the stadium, and there's a tweet. Oh, Jalen Reagor sitting with the Lions scouts. So, I mean,
it was him.
Yeah.
He's shorter than you think he is, too.
That was one of the things that sort of threw me off a little bit. I was
like, is he barefoot?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of hair too. He does. He's got a lot of hair.
He does.
Is he working on helping them find the right kind of linebacker?
Maybe.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. Between him and Kelvin Shepard, though, they got a lot of hair in that linebacker room right now. And Anzalone, he's one of the takeaways that I've gotten from just fishing around lines, I don't expect Alex Anzalone to be back with this team.
No, I think that is pretty much the feel, especially based on the Instagram posts he had. I'm interested. I would like to see them be able to retain him in some way. And bring him back because we're going to have a lot of gaps there really if we aren't able to find a way to maintain.
And one of the things that Justin Rogers talked with us this morning was they want more out of Derek Barnes. His development did not go up as quickly or as competently as they wanted it to. So he's a little bit on the spot. if Anzalone isn't back, if JRM isn't back, they've got a massive hole in the middle of that defense. And they're one of the things I was pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of decent linebackers here who can run. Like Jelani Tavai is not here. You're getting guys that can fly. The kid from Georgia can really run. Asamoah from Oklahoma could run all over the place. The kid from Montana State had some good reps today. He did well when they did run blitzes. He would crash the gap, and he guessed the right gap and got through and made a couple plays in the backfield that are very nice. I haven't watched much film on him, but I'm intrigued by what I saw from that. It seems like it's a good year to get a 3rd, 4th, 5th round off-ball linebacker in the Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, that type of player, and that tends to be where this regime looks for linebackers. Mm-hmm. That's where Anzalone came from. There's a lot of guys in that cluster that I think they're gonna. If I were to speculate, like what the most likely position they would draft from their team is probably a linebacker, and it's not going to be as early as a lot of y'all want, but you're going to get one.
I've got an idea. Why don't we ask Calvin Shepard on Thursday when he's on the show why JRM was here?
Look at you. Yes, we will have Calvin Shepard on the show.
And we'll look at the beautiful locks.
I'm going to be going gaga over his hair because it's beautiful.
Yeah. We got a couple other names to announce for Thursday as well. Calvin Shepard is one. It's going to be a big day. You definitely don't want to miss what we've got going on here from the Super Bowl. Also, all right, got a Go Lions coming up. That's great. I want to tell you about Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Go there anytime you're going to buy something from Amazon. Don't give your money to Bezos. He's a bald shrimp. And let us know. And help us out by going to Amazon.DetroitLions. I can't even talk. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com to make all your purchases. You help the podcast by doing something you were going to do anyway, and it takes you right to the site. No funny stuff. Quick questions coming in the chat. I want to hit Collin with it first. What would you do? Where'd it go?
Would you take a steamer in somebody's mouth?
What would you guys do for a Lions Super Bowl? Like the worst thing you do for a Super Bowl win.
There was that video we saw. They were asking Bengals fans at a tailgate what they would do. I sent it to Chris last night. It starts the video off. I'd kill my brother. The next one, some guy said, I'd suck a dick. Not 5,000 of them, just one. Sorry.
That's the key. Start low. Don't give it all away.
And then it finishes with, I'd let Michelle Obama poop in my mouth. Where does it even come from?
Why her? It just does none of it make sense.
Why not? Like what? I don't get that. That's not something I would do. Sorry, I just don't have an interest in that.
Lions Guru, he's the one that asked. I was going to do something similar, except for me, I'd get AIDS.
Oh my God! Good Lord, we've gone off the loopy rails here.
What would you do for the Lions to win a Super Bowl? Like the absolute worst thing?
I don't know. Is it bad that it's probably not anything that's like crazy? Because I'm used to them not winning.
Oh my God! It is Sir Mix-a-Lot booty thick.
That's what it would.
I would do training camp in a Speedo.
Oh, well, this is what you would do to punish yourself, not other people.
Other people need to bask in that.
Banana hammock. I've already done it and it didn't work, so I give up. All right, there you go. All right, there we go. Thank you, Lions Guru. Love it. Good stuff.
We had fun with that in the car today, too, like figuring out why Michelle, why not like anybody else? Like, why? Why not Dan Campbell?
Kill my brother.
Yeah, that's the one.
The first one that comes out.
The first one. It's like, what?
Kill my brother.
Where's this going? I think it progressively got better.
I think he doesn't like his brother. I mean, that's what he's probably saying there. All right. Day 2 wrap.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Day 2 wrap 5,000 times. Day 2 wrap in the Senior Bowl 2022 with Collin and Jeff we've got it going on. We will be back tomorrow morning. We'll have more. Again, we'll tell you. Oh, I was going to tell you who the other people were.
Yes.
That we're going to interview on Thursday. But don't forget Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Got to go there. There you go. All right, we're going to have
FIP.
Yes, Dave Phipp and
Special teams coach.
The very, very masterful, wonderful man of the year, our first love, Hank Fraley, will join the show on Thursday.
Offensive line coach.
Yes.
He will be with us. We will have, so tomorrow morning, again, the media breakfast is going on right behind Collin. It's all set up in there all nicely right now. We will not go trash it. And we will get a lot of.
Sleep on a
We're
table.
not going live with those, are we? We're recording those, right?
No, they're all going to be live. We're going to as we get players.
So
we're going to pop and
you
go.
definitely need to like and subscribe to know when we're coming on the air because we're going to have like it could be like, hey, we got Malik Willis right now.
Yep.
Like, boom, let's go.
We got Daniel Bellinger. I mean, Daniel Bellinger and Malik, we talked to airport on the way here. Both agreed to it. I think when they see us, they'll be like, oh, yeah, and they'll come out and do it.
Bellinger had a good day, too.
Yeah, he looked really good out there.
Good
we
player.
have to talk about him some more.
Yeah.
He may wind up being my draft crush, to be honest with you. It's you know what's great. I mean, he played well today, but a lot of it's going to be based on talking to him in the airport. He was just a really cool cat. I mean, I really enjoyed him. He's a good guy, a good person. So, but they literally 30 feet behind Collin is the door. Oh yeah, you can just see the crack on the right side there into the ballroom where the breakfast is going to be. All 130 players will be available, and what we're going to try to do is pull the players out into interviews out here, and as they come, grab some as well. And tomorrow morning it starts at 7:30 Central Time, so 8:30 Eastern. We'll be rocking that out.
God for the time change. I can sleep more than an hour.
It will. It's not going to be enough sleep, but we will go. And again, it'll be no warning really. We're not even going to be able to tweet. I mean, it'll be the automatic tweet when it says we're going to go live in 2 minutes. But that's it.
You will be able to watch them after the fact, right?
Yes.
They stay. Excuse me. They stay up on the channel. But if you want like the immediacy of it, like they got them first. You're like, yeah. Like, subscribe.
Hit the
little bell on there that says,
hey,
they're going live. It could be any number of people.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff. All right. There you go.
No long snappers, by the way. We're not interviewing long snappers. Moratorium. Nope.
We didn't even put
Scott
him on
Daly,
our list.
I love you, buddy. You got the job.
There you go. All right, everyone. This is it for today. Senior Bowl wrap up 2022, day 2. It is day 2, I guess.
Day 1 of practice. Day 2 of the Senior Bowl experience.
Thank you.
Yes.
I gotta wake up, man. I need some sleep. I need a drink, some dinner, and some sleep. You good?
Sounds good. Yeah.
In that order?
Sure.
Okay.
You've had enough of that shit.
All right. Thank you all. We will check with you soon. And tomorrow morning, look out because we are going to be coming in fast and hard with all kinds of interviews. Collin, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon this week.